I have been trying to keep an eye on when I slip back into my old habits that led me to being burnt out late last year. Um, it was very easy when I had time off around that time to have new habits that I was integrating into my life. But now, a month after being in my normal life, working, business owner, eldest daughter, all the things, maintaining a house and friends, all these different things, it has been hard to keep those habits alive, quite honestly. It's been a struggle, but I think I'll probably say at least 70% of the time I'm doing what I need to do. But there are signs that I'm looking out for where I might start trending backwards into those bad habits because bad habits, they do indeed die hard. So I've kind of cataloged a list, seven to be precise, of the clearest signs that you may be regressing back into hustle culture. So let's get into it. The first sign that you may want to watch out for is you feel guilty when you rest. I'm This is something I'm still trying to work through myself, but I know anytime that I am trying to rest or relax, the craziest things will pop up in your head. It'll be like, oh, well, instead of resting, if you go back into your office, you can probably get two or three more things done in the next hour. And it's a toxic mindset. It truly is. Rest doesn't feel like it's neutral. It feels like it has to be earned. And it doesn't have to be, or it actually shouldn't be. Rest is a part of productivity, if you will, and it doesn't have to be earned. And especially when you're doing work, you have to incorporate rest as part of the process. You can't do all these great things and not have rest. You have to reset yourself at some point. But when you feel guilty about rest, that's when you're slipping back in the hustle culture. All right, so sign two is your default mode always feels behind. For me, I cannot recall a time where I have felt that I have, let alone um, been on time for something, but ahead of schedule, ahead of the game. I always feel like I should have done this a week ago, or just I feel so behind. And I would say no matter how much you accomplish, there's always more tasks, more emails, more content, more ideas, more things you can be executing on. If you are a high achiever, this is probably something that you feel on the daily, if not hourly. And this is something that I struggle with, where it's like you will never, even if you clean out your to do list, there's still plenty of other things you can add to it. And so, really, just understanding that that is not a measure for you, and that you're never behind. You're right where you're supposed to be. It's a mindset that I'm still struggling with, but something that I'm taking notice of. Another sign you may be slipping into hustle culture is you measure your days by output, not by well being. This one gets me all the time as well. I always think about, oh, a good day is a productive day. I was able to cross 20 things off my 50 item to do list. Or if it was a bad day, it was one that was very unproductive, one that was slow, just not as productive as I would have liked it to be. And I would say instead of asking, what did you get done? The questions I'm asking myself is, did I feel okay today? Did I have enough energy? Did I just enjoy my life today? I mean, we only have one precious life, and it just baffles me. Like I never really asked myself those questions when it comes to like working and just in general. It's always okay. Was I productive today? If I was, it was a great day. Not a matter of, well, did you actually enjoy the day that you had, even if it was productive? And sometimes it will be a yes. Other times it'll be, I really can't remember what I had for breakfast because it was such a fast paced day. And then additionally, I would say a way to counter this, what I've been trying to do is incorporate like something whimsical, as I say, or something fun or that deviates from my routine or schedule. So then that way I have something to look forward to during the day. And that's really been helping as well to really make sure that I'm not focused on the productivity aspect of life, but just did you go out and do something fun? Did you enjoy the day? All right. And then sign four that you might be slipping into hustle culture is you push yourself through exhaustion as if it's normal. Again, something I have to remind myself of because I am guilty of saying these things where, oh, this is just a busy season. I've been in a busy season for the past 5 years. It's terrible. I can't remember a season at this point where I was not busy. Um, Another lie that I would tell myself is, oh, I will rest after this project. Another project is right after the project that I was working on. There was no rest. It was just move on to the next thing, cross off the list, move to the next. The last one, however, the last thing I will always find myself saying to myself is that what you're building, it takes effort. Like the life that I'm building, I'm very ambitious. There are things I'm trying to do in my life. And knowing that there's not going to be someone out there that's going to save you. No one's just going to, sit there and just give you $5 million to do whatever you want. Like if you want change in your life, you have to do it yourself. No one's going to save you from that. And so knowing that, I'm just like, I try not to go so far down that road, because yes, that is true. You need to, if there's dreams or things that you want to do, you have to work hard at them. But on the back end of that too, remembering the first topic is that rest is productive. In order for you to do all these amazing things, you have to rest. You have to rest. You can't keep pushing yourself through exhaustion. All right. So sign 5, your brain is never fully off. Even during rest periods, you're thinking about work, content, family, thinking about things you need to do. Your body might be sitting down and relaxing, but your mind is still clocked in, basically. And sometimes I can feel myself doing that. Even when I'm hanging out with friends, sometimes I'm thinking about, okay, well, when I'm done hanging out with friends, I need to do X, Y, Z. The most productive way to do that, probably I should do this thing first because it just makes more sense. It's not going to take as long. So it's a crazy mind jump, mind hurdle that I do, even when I'm supposed to be resting. And so when I start spiraling out like that and start thinking about my to-do list and things that I want to do, I kind of shrink back down, just enjoy the moment now. Enjoy the moment now. All right. So sign 6 that you're sliding back into hustle culture. You're always optimizing yourself. Constantly trying to be more productive, build faster, scale sooner. I know for me, I'm always trying to look at, again, the most effective ways of doing things to try and not waste time, because again, you can get just about everything back except for time. Time you cannot get back. So I always try and figure out which ways or which things I can do to optimize my time. But the biggest thing about that, growth is good, so not slamming that. But I would say for someone who is looking to always grow and maximize and just grow their skill set just in general, you have to still eventually look back from where you were to where you are now and at least be able to sit in gratitude and be thankful for how far you've come. When your eyes are so focused on the future and you're not really taking in where you're at now, I feel like you're never going to be grateful. You're never going to be happy because you're always looking eyes ahead, eyes to the future, but not sitting in the present and really, for one, patting yourself on the back for the journey that you've traveled so far, and really just absorbing that and just giving yourself kudos for that. So just something to keep in mind. That's what I usually do whenever I start thinking about, oh, I should be doing this, this, and this to move on to my next mountain, to go to that next peak. It's no, stay here. You climbed a mountain already. You've done a lot of work on yourself. Pat yourself on the back before you start trying to do something else. All right. And so then the last sign that you're slipping back into hustle culture is you're proud of being busy. Thankfully, I think this is more so something that I did when I was younger. I don't do it so much now just because being busy is so overrated. Quite honestly, there is a difference between being busy and being productive. And I hate being busy for busy's sake. But going back to this idea of, when someone encounters you and they say, oh, hey, how are you? And you say, oh, I'm busy, but good. Busy starts becoming your identity, and slowing down feels like a failure for you. That's when you need to kind of recalibrate and say, okay, why do I feel this way? Am I really aligned with the things I'm supposed to be doing? Or am I just doing things just to say I'm doing things and being busy? So really kind of checking in with yourself to see if you are in alignment. But I do want to end this video with this, because as I was making taking notes and jotting down and journaling my experiences around this topic, something struck me. And it's, when you're capable, when you're a high achiever, type A personality, ambitious, it makes you exactly the type of person that hustle culture rewards and overuses. And it's not that you're doing anything particularly wrong, but the system itself is built to praise people who can hold too much. It's built to celebrate and reward people who have a lot of capacity and can just do a lot of things. But that's not sustainable. That's the biggest thing. It's not sustainable. But you eventually get to a point where you look back to where you used to be and you're like, if I didn't do all those things, if I didn't push myself, if I didn't grind as hard as I did, I wouldn't be here. And so it's just a very toxic cycle that I see why people like my age and even a little bit older than me, where it's like they get burnt out from jobs and then one day they're in a job and the next day they're like, hey, I quit. And you're like wondering like, oh my God, what happened? And it was just, they couldn't take it anymore. There was no maybe singular reason, but it was probably tons of tiny little reasons of why they just was like, hey, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. And so it's being real with yourself and realizing that you can, I mean, granted, if that's what you've been practicing all your career, you can indeed change and still be successful by putting boundaries in place, because that would be more sustainable than the hustle culture and the grinding that got you to that point. But that was my reflection as I was journaling. So that's all I have for you though today. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been around these parts before, welcome back. I'm Monie, and I am working to build a life that fits who I am and taking you along for the ride. I share content around entrepreneurship, careers, nonprofits, travel, etc. Check out my playlist on my channel for content you may be interested in. And for today's affirmation, I'm going to go with what I said at the beginning of the video. Rest is productive and it does not need to be earned. All right, so thank you for spending time with me today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.